What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Sam from Team SamRanks1 here, and today I am coming at you with my updated Monarch deck profile for the February 2019 ban list. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. With the release of the ban list, we know that Stormforth is finally back at 3, and I really think that it's a huge boost for the deck. The deck is actually really powerful, and the deck is relatively really budget as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You guys all know how Monarchs work. You know, they're very popular for their stun aspect of the deck, and I'll explain you guys all my card choices once I progress through the video. But overall, I think that this deck is actually very solid. So I'll explain you guys all the card choices once I progress through the video. If you guys want to see more deck profiles like these, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. It'll be absolutely amazing. And you guys all know that your boy is currently in Thailand right now, so I'll give you guys as much content as I possibly can while I'm here. If you guys want to help support the channel, make sure you guys get your awesome Playmats today at tx1.com/shop. in the link in the description box below. I have a different variety of Playmats on the website for you guys to check out. So if you guys want to help support me and what I do, make sure you guys visit tx1.com/shop in the link in the description box below. To start off with the monsters you're gonna play, of course, the one Aether, the Heavily Monarch. This is obviously the best Monarch in the deck. And what this card does is that if this card is tribute summoned, you can send 2 Monarchs spawn trap card with different names either from your hand and or deck to the graveyard, and then special summon a 2400 attack or higher and 1000 defense monster directly from your deck. You can banish 1 Monarch spawn trap card from your graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. Tribute summon this card, and this card is a quick effect, which is really awesome. So especially combining this card up with Stormforth is just absolutely insane, where you're actually able to activate this card's effect, banish spell card in your graveyard, and then change Stormforth to be able to tribute summon your opponent's monster to summon Aether during your opponent's turn. Is just absolutely incredible. Next to accompany Aether, you're gonna play, of course, triple Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. When this card is tribute summoned, you basically get to send 2 Monarch spawn trap cards with different names to the graveyard, and once that effect resolves, you basically get to return a card from your opponent's hand directly to the deck. So it's just like one of those interruption cards, which lets you randomly select 1 card in your opponent's hand to return to the deck, which is really good. Card either lets you choose a card from the field, graveyard, or hand to bounce back to your opponent's deck, which is really good. And the most amazing thing about this effect is that this effect does not target. So against any monster that has, you know, the target immunity, this card is on target, so it's enabled to actually bounce back that monster directly to the deck. And also has amazing second ability where you can send 1 Monarch spawn trap card from your hand to the graveyard to basically target a Monarch, basically a monster with 2400 attack or more with 1000 defense in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So that's how you can always recycle Aether directly from your graveyard to your hand. You can just activate Airbase effect in grave to basically ditch a card from your hand to the graveyard, you know, which is in form of a Monarch spawn trap, to basically recycle back Aether directly from your grave to your hand, which is really awesome. So that's how you can basically control your resources in the deck with Airbase effect, to just send your Monarch spawn trap cards that you have in your hand to basically recycle back your Monarchs, which is really, really great. So I think that Airbase the Underworld Monarch is just absolutely incredible for the deck to just get your resource going, and it's just like one of the best toolbox in the deck, at the same time one of the best beat sticks as well. And it's a dark with 2800 attack, so that's really relevant if you're playing different cards in the main and also the side deck. So this card's a dark, which is really great. Next off, you're gonna play, of course, double Kuraz, the Light Monarch. This card is really good as well. If you guys don't know what Kuraz's effect, when this card is tribute summon, you basically get to target 2 cards on the field, destroy them, and then you draw 1 card equal to the cards that are destroyed on the field. So if you basically destroy 2 of your own cards, you draw 2 cards. If you destroy 2 of your opponent's card, they draw 2 cards. But if you're destroying your opponent's card, you're basically just gonna be killing them that turn anyway. So like when this card is summoned in general, you basically get to activate that effect. And the best way to actually get access to Kuraz is obviously you know, the Aether, where you're actually able to just, you know, disrupt your opponent's play you know, during their turn, where you're able to just activate Aether's effect, tribute one of your monsters or your opponent's monster, summon Kuraz, and then pop either, you know, 2 of your own cards or 2 of your opponent's cards to basically just get you more momentum, right? And that's all that we're playing for the Monarch engine of the deck, the Monarch names. For the other tribute monster that I like to play in the deck, which is our win condition for this format, is double Vanity's Fiend and double Majesty's Fiend. I think that these cards are the best cards this format, especially to compete in today's metagame. Like, I think Vanity's Fiend and Majesty's Fiend is like 50-50 in utility wise, but Majesty's Fiend kind of has a more edge in this deck, is because this card is searchable, right? Because Majesty's Fiend is 24,000, whereas Vanity's Fiend is 1200. So, you know, in this deck, Majesty's Fiend has, you know, more versatility, where you can actually search this card. You can also reveal this card of, you know, Tenacity, which is really good. Whereas Vanity's Fiend, it's a, you know, a really good blow card, which locks your opponent from special summoning, but at the same time, it's not searchable. So, like, in this format, like, I think that both of these cards are good. Like, Majesty's Fiend hit a lot of danger decks, and, you know, danger is obviously the meta right now. So this completely locks down dangers, but it's really weak against Pankratops and also Pendulums, whereas Vanity's Fiend is just overall really good, you know, against almost every single deck, but obviously a monster effects can just easily just destroy Vanity's Fiend, right? So I think that, you know, playing 2 and 2 is definitely the correct, you know, number to play in the deck. I think that Vanity's Fiend is just more beneficial in this variant because it is searchable, at the same time it just has more versatility in this deck, whereas Vanity's Fiend does not, right? So you guys can play 3 and 3, you know, 3-1, you know, some people play 3 Vanity's Fiend, 1 Vanity's Fiend because it's searchable, but I just like, you know, the number of 2 and 2. If you guys want to play around with your own ratios, you guys can go ahead and do that. Just use my deck as a guide to what you guys can play in your own deck. But I think that these 2 Fiends are just like the perfect meta call for today's meta game, especially combining off with Domain of the Monarchs or also Monarchs Erupt. It's like super GG. Like, your opponent can definitely not play through this. And the way that you actually play this deck is very simple. Like, you don't want to overcomplicate things where, you know, you're trying to combo off. Monarch isn't really too much of a combo deck. Yes, you can put a significant amount of damage on the board, but I think this deck is best when you're playing control and stun, right? So that's when the Vanity's Fiend and also Vanity Fiend come in play for today's metagame. So it's all up to you guys on the ratios that you want to play in the deck, but I think 2 and 2 is fine. Next off, the Squire, you're going to play, of course, triple Idea. This card is really great when this card is normal summon. Well, when this card is summoned, you basically get a special summon of the Squire from the deck, which is really good. And when this card is sent to the graveyard, you basically get to add back one of your banished Monarch Spawn Trap cards directly from your banished POW to your hand, which is really good. And yeah, man, look at that. Thailand, guys, there's like people riding motorcycles like 24/7. So if you guys hear any disturbance in the background, I'd like to apologize. But anyways, Idea the Heavenly Monarch is just super amazing for this deck. It's like one of the cards you want to start off with a Monarch in hand. It's also another really good toolbox in the deck. So triple Idea, really standard to play. And also you're playing triple Eidos, the Underworld Monarch. Eidos is also really good. If you guys don't know what Eido does, when this card is summoned, you basically get to additional tribute summon this turn. You know, this card is actually really great, especially turn 2. You're able to banish this card from your graveyard to special summon back Idea from your grave. And then once Idea is summoned, you basically get to 2-row another Squire directly from the deck. You ideally want to start up with Idea to bring out Eidos, tribute summon for your monsters, and the next turn you're able to just put a significant amount of damage on the board with Eidos' effect, but banish yourself from the graveyard to revive back Idea from the grave, which is really good. I think that Mithra is just super broke. Like, you basically get to tribute summon twice, especially during these turns 2 and 3. You're able to banish, you know, Eidos from your graveyard, special my Idea back, activate Idea, special my Mithra directly from the deck, tribute something for Mithra, you know, summon a Monarch monster, and then Mithra activates effect to get you the additional tribute summon again. You know, 7 Squires is the correct number to play in the deck, in my opinion. You guys can troll me in the comments, or you guys can play with your own ratios. I've seen some builds where you play 3, 3, and 3, but like, you guys don't know how Monarchs are. You want to minimize yourself on breaking as much as possible, but Monarchs, like, you guys don't know that you can build houses with Monarchs, and sometimes you just can't control the situation, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you are destined to brick, and that's what happens when you're playing Monarchs. But times where you don't brick, you're pretty much just gonna win the duel right there, dead right. So I think that, you know, this is the perfect ratio to play in the deck for the Squire engine. Next off, your spells, you know, triple, you know, tenacity of the Monarchs. This card, when you know, this card lets you reveal a Monarch in your hand to basically search any Monarch Spawn Trap card directly from the deck to your hand, which is really good. So tenacity is your reinforcement of the army of the deck, and it also works really well with Majesty's Fiend, because Majesty's Fiend is technically a Monarch because it has 2400 attack and 1000 defense, whereas Vanity's Fiend kind of doesn't work with tenacity because Vanity's Fiend is 1200 defense. So it's really unfortunate on that, but triple tenacity is definitely a must-have in the deck. Next to play, of course, triple Domain of the Monarchs. Domain is just absolutely incredible. This card lets you lock your opponent from using the extra deck, and you're playing 0 extra deck in Monarchs because you don't need to. And this deck is a very stun-heavy deck, and you know, it's like I said before, this deck is not complicated whatsoever. You don't need to do any fancy combo plays. All you gotta do is just summon Vanity's Fiend, Domain, pass. Like, your opponent can't win the game if that's the case. You know what I mean? And that same thing goes for Majesty. Summon Majesty's Fiend, Domain, win condition, you automatically win the duel. It lets your Monarchs trample over any problematic monster on the field, and it lowers your bigger Monarchs level to level 6, which makes them be able to just easily tribute summon by just using 1 monster. So Domain of the Monarchs is just absolutely broken. It's like one of the best win conditions in the deck, and it just locks your opponent from overall using the extra deck, which is one of the most important game mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like, using the extra deck. So Domain of the Monarchs is just really broken for that. Next off, you know, play, of course, triple Return of the Monarchs. This card is absolutely broken. The fact that it's able to search Majesty's Fiend is what makes this card really, really great. And you want to maximize yourself on actually playing 3 copies of these as much as possible. If you guys don't know what Return of the Monarchs does, basically you can also special monster from the extra deck, which you're not playing any monsters in the extra deck anyways. And when you tribute summon for a monster, you either get to add 2400 attack Monarch directly from your deck to hand, aka Majesty's Fiend, Kuraz, or you can add one of your bigger Monarchs directly from your deck to hand, Erebus, Aether, which is really, really good. So this card searches those cards, and in combination off with Kuraz, what you do is, like, usually, you know, activate Kuraz effect after you search with Return of the Monarchs to pop, you know, to pop the Return of the Monarchs to just draw an additional card. You obviously want to activate, you know, Return the Monarchs Chain Link 2 and Kuros Chain Link 1. So return Surges first, and then Kuros gets the pop, which is really great. So 3 copies of this card. And you can also reveal this card off Pantheism, which is really nice. So your opponent is forced to give you this card directly from your deck to your hand. Triple the Monarch Stormforth. This card is absolutely broken in this deck, in my opinion. Stormforth is the card that lets you grant the ability to just tribute one of your opponent's monsters for your Monarch tributes, which is really great. And at the same time, this card is finally back at 3. So you can also reveal this card off Pantheism, show 3 copies of this, and your opponent is forced to give you this card directly from your deck to your hand. And the best way to actually utilize this card is during either your turn and also your opponent's turn. But the way that I'm actually playing this deck, which I'll further explain once I get to the trap, I love to play on my opponent's turn, so you're able to just use this card as an interruption to banish, to tribute some of your opponent's monsters, summoning, you know, one of your monarchs for, during your opponent's turn, which is really great. So this card combination with Aether is just the greatest. You just activate Aether's effect, you know, Chain Link 1, activate the Monarch Stormforth, Chain Link 2, tribute one of your opponent's monster, bring out Aether, and then just go off with your combo shenanigans from there on in. Really glad that this card is finally back off the ban list, and at the same time, you know, it's just really easy to just activate Stormforth, to tribute summon for your Majesty's Fiend. Next off, for the one-offs, we're going to play, of course, the one Pantheism, the Monarch. Unfortunately, this card is still at one of the best draw cards in the deck. What this card basically does, you know, you just send 1 Monarch Spawn Trap from your hand to the graveyard, aka Prime, draw 2 cards, and you can manage this card to choose 3 Monarch Spawn Trap from your deck, and your opponent gets to pick one and then add it to your hand, right? So if you reveal 3 of the same cards, your opponent is obviously forced to give you one of your monarchs, you know, that you have chosen directly from deck to hand, which is really good. So Pantheism, the Monarchs, don't need to really explain this card. This card is just really broken. It's like a Pot of Greed / Pot of Duality built in one. So Pantheism is broken. Play the 1 Marsh of the Monarchs. I think that, you know, making your monarchs unable to be targeted or destroyed by card effects is just insane, right? So March of the Monarchs is just really good. Like a searchable protection card for the deck is also really great. So, you know, activate March, Domain, like Majesty's Fiend, like there is no way your opponent's beating you, man. So last but not least, for your power spells, you're going to play, of course, 1 for 1, 1 Read First in the Army, and 1 Foolish Barrow. These cards are one of the best power spells in your deck, and they're obviously 1-outs. 1 for 1 lets you basically special summon an idea directly from the deck. Once you activate 1 for 1, you're winning the game because you're getting 2 tributes for that turn, which is really good. So if you're able to drop cards like Vanities and Majesty's Fiend first turn board, you automatically just win the game. Rhoda searches your idea directly from your deck to hand because it is a warrior monster. And Foolish Barrow, which is really good because essentially it's a search card as well because it dumps your Erebus to the graveyard. Sometimes you lack on seeing monarchs in your hand, so you're able to send Erebus directly to the graveyard. Send 1 spell card from your hand to the grave to add Erebus back at the same time. Helps dump Idea and Eidos to the grave. So once Idea gets sent to the graveyard, you basically get to recycle back your Pantheism directly from your banished power to your hand. So that way you can just get the ability to Pot of Greed once again, at the same time dumps your Eidos to the graveyard to basically get you access to Idea back from the grave, which is really good. So these spell cards are absolute must to play in the deck 100,000%. Next off for your traps, man, you're not letting your opponent play Yu-Gi-Oh! Triple Monarchs are up. Like, you're not letting your opponent play Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't care what's going on, but your opponent's not playing. This deck is just a really stun heavy deck. You flip this card, you more likely just win the duel. Monarchs are up, Vanity's Fiend or Majesty's Fiend with Domain, like you win the duel. They can't do anything, and like her up is just really broken. The fact that you have a like searchable skill drain for the deck is just insane. So triple erupt is just really good. Like I said before, this deck is very simple. Flip erupt with the Vanities or Majesties, you win the duel. Flip, you know, activate Domain with the Vanities or Majesties, you win the duel, right? Like your opponent is not getting past your defense. Like next off, you're gonna play, of course, double Prime Monarch. This card is really good. Helps you recycle back your Monarch spell directly to the deck, and at the same time, you get to banish a Monarch from the grave. You get to banish a Monarch spawn in the grave to basically special this card on your side of the field. It's just a free body on the board, and then at the same time, you can just tribute this away to summon a Monarch from your hand, which is really good. So it's like, you know, a free tribute every single turn, which is really nice. For your 2 traps, I like to play a double escalation on Monarch. This card is the card that lets you play on your opponent's turn, especially combining with the Monarch Stormforth. So you activate escalation, change Stormforth, like you tribute their monster during your opponent's turn. It's just absolutely insane. And I think that playing 2 copies of this card is like the right number to play this format. Like I said before, this deck is an interruption deck. So you interrupt your opponent's during your opponent's turn by dropping like a Vanities or you know, or Majesties on their turn, or dropping Aether or Erebus on their turn. So I believe that playing 2 is definitely the correct ratio for this deck. And that's pretty much it for the deck. I decided to play 41 cards in the main deck. You guys can definitely troll me in the comments if you guys don't like the 41. You guys can tell me what card to cut out, but obviously it's just like my own thing where I like to play 41 cards. So like if you guys think of any other cards you guys can cut, you guys can go ahead and do so, but 41 cards is definitely just my personal preference to play for this deck. So that's pretty much it for the main deck. We play no extra deck obviously because there's Domain and also Monarchs are up in the deck. Let's go off to your side deck real quick. You're going second, triple evenly match for those back row decks, third Vanities and a third Majesties. Like for decks that are like heavily reliant on monster effects, especially, you just side the third in to be just lock them down, and then you have 6 fiends in the deck, and then you just automatically win the duel, right? And then since Erebus is like the best Monarch in the deck, is you want to play triple Eradicator. Like, you're not losing against Striker or Ultrageist. You flip this card against them, you automatically win the duel. And Erebus is, you know, 2800, which is really great, and Dark as well. So you can activate your Eradicator on Erebus, and then you just win, right? So Virus is really broken for those FTKs, you know, triple impermanence. And also double draw. I can't find my third draw, but I will play 3 draw. Like, draw against any danger deck, you automatically win the duel. And last but not least, your free summons and free back remove is Dan Wrestler, Pangotrops. Pangotrops is really broken in this format, in my opinion. And side deck is always up to personal preference, depending on what you guys, you know, want to play, and also depends on the meta. The side deck is definitely going to change moving forward, but I think that the side deck is just very solid from now on. So, you know, let me know what your thoughts are about this deck in the comment section below. Do you guys love Monarchs? What are your thoughts about this current version I'll play? If you guys want to, you know, play any of your card choices, definitely go ahead and do so, but remember to just use my deck as a guide to what you guys can play in your own deck. But this is the version I've been playtesting so far. Obviously, Monarchs are always prone to bricks. There's not really a perfect build to play, because there are hands where you brick and there are hands that are just like you open up utterly broken and your opponent can't play, right? But overall, I think this deck is like one of the best you know, stun decks to play this format, and I believe that this current version that I'm playing right now is the best version to play for this format moving forward. So, and if you guys want to help support the channel, make sure you guys visit tx1.com/shop in the link down below. This is your boy Sam from Team Sam signing out. Alright guys, peace.
I feel like Usain in the cheetah print. Talk fresh game, I don't need a minute. RIP the game, I need a minute. Okay, let's proceed with it. I'm in the house, got the deed with it. These bozos always sneak this and they taking shots. I'm a key with it. Like, no, this league business.